is all talking about this number 1. And I can zoom in pretty good now. All I have to do is say which type of, or what type of angle pair do they have. So the difference here is this time my transversal is left to right instead of up and down, right? But it's still the same thing. I have to have one from this group and one from this group to make an angle pair. But they did also not write the numbers in order, right? So up in the notes, 1, 2, 3, and 4 was a group. Now 1, 2, 5, and 6 is a group. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So always look at that. So if I have angle 1 and angle 8, 1 is on the top side of the transversal, 8 is on the bottom side.
Yeah.
So that tells me they're on different sides, so that means alternating, right? Are they inside my box or outside?
Outside, so that'll be exterior.
So alternating exterior, and I'm abbreviating ALT for alternating, EXT for exterior. And the way I would always do this is look and see if they're alternating first, then look and see if they're consecutive if they're not alternating, then look and see if they're corresponding. Angle 2 and angle 3, I look at these. Both of these are on top of my transversal, so they're not alternating. Both of them are also inside of my box. So they're not alternating, which means they're consecutive. They're inside, which means consecutive. Interior. I don't know why my C before the T turned into a capital C. Now, angle 5 and angle 7. Well, 5 and 7 are both on the same side. They're both on the bottom side of the transversal, but they're not both inside of my box, right? So they can't be consecutive interior. But if I look, 5 is in the bottom left of its group, right?
Yeah.
7 is in the bottom left of its group. So if they're in the same position of their group, what are they? Corresponding. That very first one we went over. If they're in the same position, they are corresponding. I'm just abbreviating that CORR. D, the 2 and 7. 2 is on top, 7 is on the bottom of the transversal, so they are alternating. Are both of them inside my box or outside my box? So alternating interior. One and 3. They're consecutive, but they're not both inside, so they're not consecutive interior, so then I check to see if they're corresponding.
Yeah.
They are corresponding. 1 is in the top left of its group of 4. 3 is in the top left, so it is corresponding. And then 6 and 7. They're on the same side of the transversal. They're both this time they're both inside though. So they're consecutive and they're both inside my box. So that would be consecutive interior.
Wait, does the interior mean? Oh yeah.
And we're almost done. We're just going to do example 2. And then we'll be done with the notes. Now, with example 2, they added some stuff to it, right? Now, each line is also a transversal. But if I look at this little bottom message here, it says important angles must belong to the same transversal to be an angle pair. So what that is saying is the angles have to be connected by another line. Which means I can use 1, 2, and 3. I can use that group with this group because they're connected by the transversal A. I can use 1, 2, and 3 with 5, 6, and 7, 5, 6, 7, and 8 because they're connected with C. But I cannot use this group and this group because there's no line that goes through the middle and connects those, right? So let's say I was given angle 2 and angle 14. There's nothing that connects angle 2 and angle 14, so that would be an example of nothing, or none, or neither. And if, while you're doing these, if you have something to cover up what you're not looking at, that will help a lot. And I'll show you that in just a second. So if I'm talking about angle 5 and angle 13, that's all I need to look at is angle 5 and angle 13. That's coming from these two groups. That's the only two groups I'm worried about right now. So I can just cover up that other side, and now all I'm looking at is this transversal and these two groups.
Wouldn't that be corresponding?
5 and 13 would be corresponding because 5 is on the top left and 13 is on the top left of their two groups, right? And so it's kind of hard to draw a box with these because it could change depending on which way you're looking.